Mirëmbrëma të dashur televizionistë të televizion të shqiptarëve të Amerikës, ne jemi këtu në një ritakim ndryshe nga herët e tjera, por si gjithnjë duke sjell në fakt atë risin interesante që ndodhet në Michigan, duke përfshirë këtu si shqiptar të komunitetit tanë, por dhe jo vetëm. Në rastin konkret ne do të kemi një zënjush të quajtur Dina Yasser, e cila ka studiuar në Universitetin Wayne State për fine art, pra për shkencën e artit, dhe në rastin konkret është për piktur, pra është painting edhe drawing. Kështu që ne kemi kënaqësinë dhe pa humbur kohë ne do të futemi direkt në bisedë për të kuptuar më së shumti se çfarë ka ndikuar në jetën e saj që të zgjedhë këtë drejtim, pse ka vendosur që të jetë një artiste se në kohët e sotme është e vështirë. Këto dhe më tutje që ndroni me ne dhe me televizionin shqiptar të Amerikës. So, welcome Dina. It's a pleasure to have you tonight here at Albanian TV of America. Welcome, and we hope it's going to be a smooth conversation.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
So let's start right away, like having more information about your background. Where are you from, and how did the love for painting and drawing start?
Well, I'm from one of the smallest ethno-religious groups in the Middle East, and they call us Mandaean. We are the indigenous people of Mesopotamia. So I'm originally from Iraq, specifically from Baghdad. I was born and raised there and lived all my childhood. Painting started just sketching and drawing, like very simple lines, just like any kid. But my parents have the talent too, so when they saw my first lines, first simple sketches as a kid, they know I have the talent. So they started supporting me. And each time when I was a kid, they take us to a place to pick a toy or something. I used always to go for art supplies and papers and pens. So that's when I started. After that, my dad was giving me a lot of information, simple sketches. I was copying him just to impress the kids in school. So that's how I started. And my teachers also were impressed of my talent. So in elementary school, when you go there, you see like 90% of the artwork under my name. So
it's
I
very
was
interesting.
given
So
the most.
what was the elementary school? So if someone that's watching right now is in the same school, they're probably gonna see your name under as the author.
I changed a lot of schools. So the thing to stand out for that, it was art. People were knowing me as the artist.
Wow,
before
the
Dina.
artist of the school.
Yes.
So you're kind of decorating the school somehow.
Yes, I was very popular in my elementary school.
That is very good thing. A big shot since
Yes.
elementary school.
Yes.
So, okay, you just mentioned actually that you had the skills and you've been blessed because as well, your parents had the talent. So it runs in the genes, it looks
Yes.
like. So what do you think are important skills for painters that they can have it and then they can show it to the world?
For me, gift is the first thing you start with, but you have to be passionate, to love what you do, to be also patient, to continue doing it. Also, the second thing is to push yourself out of the comfort zone. We always stick to something, like I do portrait, I stay here. But this is wrong. You always have to challenge yourself to explore more, to experience, to practice more styles and more like art schools. So this is why school comes here, because they force you to try different things and to know your strength and weakness.
Not just to stay in your comfort zone. Like you said, okay, I'm good at portraits and I'm going to do portraits all of my life. So that's not how you grow as an artist.
Yes, and as I started, like I never draw with oil paintings. But in high school last year, you are forced. You have one class, you have to do oil paintings. So I was like scared to try those. But when I started, my teacher liked it, and we have exhibition in Buffalo, like high school, all the schools over there in the area of New York, and they picked me like the best painting of that year in the high school.
Oh, very nice.
It was my first one. I got the best painting, and from there,
you already got the support that you needed.
Yes.
So to jump from one level to another,
Yes.
higher. So you need the wings to
Yes.
fly, obviously.
So I was more confident at that point. They were mentioning always, like my teachers and everyone, you should go to art school. So that's what I did.
So that's how you decided?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So the conversation
Yep.
brought it to here. So now we know, because it's not enough just 2 eyes. It's like more eyes.
Yes.
Like the visual of what they see, especially when it comes to your job and what you study for, that you need, like, you need the perception of other people.
Especially my teacher, he was like very professional artist. He has master's degree, but he decided to teach for high school, not for high levels, just to find talent is.
That's very nice. That's a side, like, you're gonna remind him, I'm pretty sure, all of your life.
Yes, because I wish I can find him and tell him I'm in the art field right now.
Whenever we're gonna broadcast this, hopefully your teacher sees this, and then you're gonna have another way of contacting him. Do you have a favorite time of the day when painting?
My favorite time is when I open my eyes.
So there is no time.
I always have inspiration. Thoughts just come across my brain. I have to start it. When I sleep, I always put the painting I'm working on in front of my eyes. So I just stare after waking up and trying to add things like about the thought I get while waking up. Is the moment like you get all the ideas, all the emotions in that time.
So it's like a place where you live in.
Yes.
You know that you're gonna,
I always have the painting.
From reality, you're gonna get in there in your world.
Yes, I always have it in front of me, in front of my bed.
That is for real, very, very interesting. And you are completely detached from the world, the other part of the world when painting.
It's my studio, my bedroom, my world.
I guess the artists, that's the way how they go. Where do you find inspiration, since we're here and like touching at that point?
I get inspiration from anything, like posters, photographs, any event, emotionally, like mentally or physically.
Is it, for example, sorry to cut you off, like after a trip that, I don't know, you were very amazed by the city that you visited, or a museum, or I don't know, a fashion show, all this kind of stuff. Does that influence your inspiration when you go home next day? For example, you're like, I'm gonna paint New York, let's say, Brooklyn
Bridge. Not the second day. It's like the same moment. If I don't sketch it, it goes, but I have the inspiration. Like, let's start from beginning, how I started. My mom always loved books. She always have like small library. So when I was young, like 5 or 6, it was hard for me to read her books, but I was sketching like what she has inside the books. They always have the Renaissance, like those figures and stuff. So Renaissance have the biggest effect on me. The art of like Italy in that time, of the 14th, 15th century, we call it the High Renaissance. So Michelangelo, definitely always have the big inspiration. But Caravaggio has the biggest on me because his art is more dramatic. He always have the contrast between light and dark. That's where I get the idea I have to start like do shading. And start to experience more with the charcoal and pencils. And they get the contrast to make the art more like 3D than 2D, give it more life.
You just mentioned 2 of the biggest names in the artistic world when it comes to painting.
It's always catch your eyes, like you can't shut
them. you cannot pass by and like ignore it. Any other name? Because I wanted to ask you, who are the biggest
I'm more
artistic...
into classic art, but I would say in modern, I love Picasso, like Salvador Dali. But the biggest name I had, like in school, when I start painting in college, they always mention the name, one of the Polish artists. He always paints his nightmares, and it's a way to overcome like his difficulties while sleeping.
Also, this was a relief on his anxiety, probably, because people go through medicine. Imagine going through art. That's the best way. And this is a very very good inspirational speech that you're giving right now. So people can find what they believe that they are good at. So they don't need to go through medication, through drugs, through alcohol.
It's a therapy for me. I started painting like when I was very young. When I get upset, I get punished like from family. I go in the corner, I spend like 6-8 hours just sketching. And sometimes they're telling me just like take a break, but I can't. But this is a way for me, like...
You felt better,
right? I moved on many times in my life with it, especially when we moved to one country to another. Language was hard, so for me, the language, I communicate with others and let them know me by my art in school.
See, and art is international.
Yes,
sometimes you don't even need to talk.
Yeah, it's universal.
So, and then we're here that I guess you're touching all the topics without me, without the need for me to ask. So how do you define success as an artist? So I believe one of them is like it's an international language, and a success is when you communicate your inner feelings through art.
Yes.
Do you have any other definition?
I have two things for art. One of them is absolute freedom. I want to reach this point, like freedom, because some communities, they don't accept what you paint, especially me, like female figures you mostly see in my artwork. For me, it's not physical when I put it. It's me, my soul, in that painting. I want them like to normalize what they see. Their eyes can see it as an aesthetic work, not just a female figure for me.
So not just the body shape, I understand.
Yes. First, they criticize my work, but after that, I repeated doing the same thing. I want them to see it as artwork, nothing else. So for me, it's the freedom. The second thing is the road. When we call it the road, it's to have a name, to have a style. People can see you, recognize it's you without reading the name. This happened also like in the last year of my studies. They were knowing me by my art style, even when I changed it. They know from colors, my lines, and everything. But there is more, like I'm working on.
Like the combination of the work.
Yes.
Speaks more than the name.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying. Yes. And by the way, since we're here, is Van Gogh one of your favorites?
I love him. I love his like story, his life. It's very inspiration for all of us. But his art is like I'm more to the surrealism style, more fantasy. So I'm more to Salvador Dali, but I love him as an artist.
I'm pretty sure because you just said freedom, and Van Gogh was a free spirit when it comes to painting. So
but I believe Salvador Dali was crazy about his work. He didn't care.
He goes right to the highest level.
As they say, like if you work with hands, you are labor. If you work with hand and brain, you are a craftsman. But if you work with hands, brain, and heart, you are an artist. So they work with a spirit.
You have to put heart in there.
Yes.
I really love that statement. And we're talking about that, and that you mentioned surrealism and realism. So how has your style changed over time?
For any painter, if you see, they always start with realism. They want to master this because they think this is the only way to reach people. So we start to do portrait, copying people. It's a good reference for you to have like knowledge in paintings and sketching of measurements, light, dark, and everything. But after that, like with academic studies, we find out it's so different. Like art doesn't have rules. It's always about your free soul. Just paint what you're feeling, your thoughts, your emotions. That's what I did. I
just like express your world. I understand.
Just express.
Not just like see something and copy that.
And you are exploring yourself while trying like different styles. So I moved from realism to surrealism, fantasy. I went to cubism, and I mixed them both in some paintings. But now I'm in surrealism.
So is that your favorite
surrealism
line?
My favorite because it's the mix between reality and dreams. So it's always have this space to make you like express yourself more without boundaries.
Especially the combinations that are very good, so you can touch two at the same way. What are your favorite and least favorite parts of professional art?
Professional art, as we say, like you are free, you do what you want, but you have your audience. Like they love your art, they criticize your art, and you trust them. You have this specific group of people. They like it or they appreciate the work, because most of the people, like when they see your art, they think you do it only for fun. It's a very easy thing. But for us, it's a big process.
I believe in this case is because people have to be educated when it comes to understand art.
Yes,
not everyone can understand it.
Some people just like art without like background of art things or knowledge and those things.
They're just like superficial.
Yes,
like that say, it's a cute one. And
that's it. But they don't know like how much time you put in, how much like brainstorming, the ideas, how many sketches you do, and the time you take to make those.
I guess it's too much work after it. So like you're saying, most of the people know just what you represent, like the final. But it's all that hard work, maybe sleepless nights as well. Because does it happen when you're like inspired at the moment, you don't want to sleep?
Yes, I just sketch it, so I keep the idea. But the second day, I put it on the canvas with oil paintings and stuff. I start doing it.
So usually how long does it take? Let's say from a simple painting to a complicated one?
Could take like 1 week to 2 months. For me, I have one painting. It's one of my favorites. I went back to painting after 1 year. So it took me like 2 months, but it's one of the best I say I have. Because as an artist, you never feel like satisfied about your work. You always add to it.
More. Okay.
But you have to stop at one point and start something new.
You always put your heart in there, so that's why all your work is amazing.
And you always start with something and you end up with something completely different because your emotions, your feelings always like changing.
Do you have a network of other artists that support you?
Yes, I have some artists like from Europe, from Asia, from people here, and also have a group of people from California right now I'm working with. They work only like online. They show your work, they promote your work. But I take my friends, like I have them as an artist. I'll always ask them about my work because I trust their opinions more. And they do the same, yes, because they are like more professional in this field.
So I understand them. So usually you guys have that group of artists, and then when you communicate with each other, that's where you share your ideas, opinions.
They are honest about their...
If something might need to be changed, for example, you're going to ask them first.
Yes, always like listen to them. You have to be open to all the ideas, all the thoughts.
But then we don't forget and take in consideration that you ask your dad as well, right?
Yes,
because you said that he was talented and that.
My mom also, but they didn't take it as a profession. Like after they get married, they just left it as a hobby for them.
So I'm pretty sure that's why they wanted you to brighten in this field, because it was their dream, and then there are things that become real and
I'm telling you, they are the biggest support. Since they saw me, like when I was 5 years old, there's like small story.
Big applause to your parents, for real, and like all the credits go to them, because it's very, very good and very important to support your child.
I always say you have the biggest talent, not like us as a hobby. That's why they want me to keep going with this field.
And they did very good, because we're pretty sure that one day we're gonna hear your name even more and more. So
thank you.
So
I hope.
Obviously they saw something. It's not just the love that the parent has for their kid, but since they had the critic eye and then they knew what they were talking about, we can tell from your work that we're gonna analyze in the end of the interview.
Actually, I still remember the first moment. How it started. I was like 5 and 6, like before school we started. And my mom was watching TV. I was sitting next to her just sketching, and she was watching like the side of her face. I just sketched it, I went to sleep. After that, she called my dad. She said, someone sketched me, like she knew it was her. Imagine like 5, 6 years old to draw you like the side face, and she knew it was her. Like the nose, the shape, the face.
There you go. She even realized it was her. You did a really good job. It wasn't just you improvising something.
For me, it's the same right now. When I see a painting, someone sketching, even if it's a good painting, I know if there is a talent or not behind it from lines.
But I guess because artists has a good eye too, so you guys memorize as well. Even just by viewing, you memorize things. So.
And we go for the details.
So like, that's another skill. Details make the difference, right?
Make the difference for me.
Is there a specific environment or material that's integral to your work?
Right now, I mostly the medium, like canvas, oil and canvas mostly, because oil give you like, it's more, you can work with it, you can fix things, you can change things. It's very flexible, I would say. Also the canvas, it's more professional for me. Environment, always like prefer quiet environment in my room. Is
always your room, or do you ever go outside in nature? I don't know.
Mostly is my room.
In a field or in front of the sea.
I used to do landscaping outside, but right now it's my room mostly. I love to be like in a quiet environment, very comfortable with my clothes.
By yourself,
yes,
like close
I
the door.
My door, some like classic music from maybe 30s, and I start painting.
Wow, you're artist in the 100% of the meaning, because the classical music too goes towards your skills and your talent. So I see. All this artistic work and the talent that's behind there, do you plan on selling your work? Because obviously people that understand and love and appreciate need, like, for example, the fine art is the most expensive art nowadays. Whoever pays, for example, $10 million for a painting means that that's where it belongs. That's all the, I guess artists don't have a price or an amount to describe it, but anyway, somehow that is a work. So do you ever plan, or are you doing that right now, either in United States or overseas?
Yes, I'm very open to sell my art, and that's my field I chose. I have to work with, and I'm lucky if I find a job in the field I like. It's my talent, my job, my living also. So I love my paintings, but if someone really appreciates what I'm doing, give the price like any artwork deserves, of course, I'm selling.
So whoever is interested, we're gonna give all the information and put the name of Dina and her Instagram page. And as well, we're gonna publish all her work. Meanwhile, you're gonna see it like right here on the corner. You can contact her from her personal Instagram and then discuss it for further information. But why not? I guess her work is amazing, and especially for like well-designed houses, it's a must to have one of that good art.
No, it's a good thing. Like, it's beautiful if you have original piece. No one has it.
Exactly. Like, you don't want to be copy-paste with like what's in Amazon and all that websites. Does social media help fine art nowadays? Because I believe it's like 40-60, it's not a balanced world that we're living, because nowadays with the social media, everyone pretends to be an artist and everyone does something and publish it there. Okay, we are in a free world and I don't want to judge anyone, but in the meantime, it's a little bit hard to realize it's just like where is the limit of a professional artist and an artist that just do things for fun.
Yes, it's hard, but for me, I have like the page, I just post my art, so I have there like the honest audience. If they like it, they stay. Okay. It helps to have people, but mostly people like what you do. They always give comments, they ask for prices, I sell a couple of those. So yeah, it's a good way also to promote yourself.
Things are advertised nowadays is through social media, so...
Even the companies right now, they go by social media.
Well, I believe it can be considered a good way because you have the direct contact with the client.
Yes.
So at least
I deal
it's
with
not
them
hard,
without commissions or anything. Yeah.
To reach you.
Yes.
Okay, I see. And since we're going toward the end of the interview, and we have a very, very amazing painting in front of me and in front of all of you, the way that what I liked about are the colors. I love colors. I am a very colorful, that's probably my spirit. So always when I see something, well, I love black and white too, since we're both wearing today. Can you explain us better, how did you come up with this? Like, what did you inspire? Like, what did you want to create? I see as well a female.
This is one of my old studies, like in school. I was practicing and playing with different styles. So here we chose like cubism. We want to play with it. So I got the cubism style, but the idea is from my head, like it's original. Okay. I try to play with it. I'm very like open. I'm not really open to colors. If you see my other work, it's kind of dark. I use one color with different tones, but this one is very like different. So for me, I try
it's too modern.
Yes, it's too modern.
Yeah.
It's not like other like more classic work I have. So I decided to have it for you as a gift here in the studio.
Thank you so much.
Because it's one of my earliest paintings.
It's very lovely actually, and since it's modern, I love it because it can fit especially in a white environment. You need to break the whiteness. It's a very interesting one. And then the interpretation, you can give it however your mind thinks.
Yes.
Because I see she has the lady.
Yes.
Is she painting?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, this is me. When I paint something, it's always me.
Okay, so there are brushes the way that she's seeing the world, but they can be brushes for makeup too. So you can just like consider in different ways.
Yes.
Since it's
anything,
a lady.
You can read it in any view. For me, if you see the movement around, like the
it always gives you the impression of like she's moving and staying in the same time.
Yeah, all my art has like movement style to it. It's always, I represent my thoughts on the canvas by this way, like more physical when I paint it. But for me, it's more emotional. It's my feelings and thoughts. which is always moving around.
And then the plus that there's like a circle
Yes.
is like the world.
True.
The world and
Yes,
moving,
that's
like
how I did
the
it.
motion.
Actually, we read it right.
Oh,
You
okay.
had it.
I love it. I mean, I didn't have the skills, but I love art.
Yeah,
So
I feel
really
good when people try to read my art, but in their way, like their view. It's really good to hear from others different point of views.
I feel like that's what makes it different, the painting. Like it's not like the music, because the music, when you hear the lyrics, obviously that's when you're gonna get the interpretation is gonna be one. It's like the lyrics are there, the
Yes,
black
this is
on
the
the white.
difference, yeah.
Here, right, is the point of view is very personal. Like however you see world, or however you see that how the artist made everything is like part of yourself. So I really love the painting. You did a very good job.
As we mentioned, like in the beginning, there's like you always start as a painter. Painters always started in the beginning, like in old days, ancient time, just to have, because they didn't have photography. So they used to have those, like to document things, document religious stuff and everything. But right now we have cameras, so why not to go to the creative side, to have more imagination,
Yeah.
let others read your work.
Yeah, correct. Because we have cameras 24 hours because of
Yes.
our cell phones, so we can photograph everything.
Yes.
So we need to work more on our inner
Yes.
part, like the
This
soul
is my
and the
opinion.
spirit.
Others, they like the other style, which is fine and appreciate it. I like it. But for me, this is gives more like feelings.
Yeah, I think the same, because the other, not like, I don't want to be judgmental, but what is like a reproduce of a photography?
Yes.
You can still go print that and that's it.
Yes.
You have it like directly from the photography.
True.
So it's not that big of a deal. But when you have like something that is expressed differently, it gives a different vibe wherever
true.
you're gonna keep the,
Yep,
the
that's true.
painting. So what are your ultimate career goals? Do you have any plan in the future?
Yes, I want to open like exhibitions, maybe in Europe. It's my goal, especially in Italy.
Okay.
It's the country of art, as
Yeah.
you know. Plus, I want to be like full-time artist. My life, I want all
Do you
art.
want to have your own place where you like
Yes,
paint
my
and then
small
sell
studio,
them?
it's fine, but in a good studio, like inspired you to do art.
I believe Europe is a very good spot. You said it,
More
like
with
Spain
nature.
as well.
Yes, those
Okay.
countries, like you have nice weather, nice nature, and you have those historical sites, because I'm obsessed with history as well. I love it. It's always inspired me.
I wish your dreams come true, because I'll be one of them to come to Italy. We are Albanians, first of all. We are neighbors
very
with
close.
Italy.
Yeah.
So why not? And then I'm pretty
Even
sure.
Albania is one of the countries I want to visit. It's on the plan.
So why not? Yeah, like by the time you're gonna become an international artist, because with the passion, you said it first, in the first place, it's not enough the talent, you should have the passion and the work, and you are working every day on that. So
Yeah,
it's not
should be
just something
patient.
you leave it on
yes,
the side.
could take years to achieve your dreams. But yeah,
But
get there.
dreams, when you love and you want something really hard, they are never unachievable. So
Yes.
you just believe in
For
yourself.
me, it's always possible to happen
So,
anytime.
There you go. That's the right way to end our conversation and our interview tonight. Thank you again for being here. It was a pleasure. I really had an amazing interview, and we love your art. And I hope more Albanians are gonna watch the interview, gonna be your supporters, gonna become your supporters from
I'm
now
glad
on.
to be here, and thank you for having me, especially for different like culture. They're gonna see my art, and I will see them maybe in the future as well.
And as we said, art is international, so we want to be along the way just one.
Yes.
Fortified together.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Dina,
Thank
for being
you.
here. Të dashur teleshikues, kjo është gjitha që kishim përgatitur për sot. Kishim një intervistë të këndshme me zonjushën Dina Yasser, vajzë talentuar që ka dedikuar edhe shkollimin e saj artit të pikturës, por edhe vazhdon më tej, siç e shihni me punën e prodhuar nga vetë ajo. Faleminderit që qëndruat me ne do të rishihemi në intervista të tjera këtu në televizionin shqiptar të Amerikës. Deri atëherë, natë mirë dhe mirëpafshim. Faleminderit edhe një herë.